Now, when it comes to calisthenics and handstands, there's no denying it that having good hip flexibility makes certain skills much easier to learn, both from unlocking the skill, but also from getting longer holds or more repetitions. But if you're anything like I was, starting this style of training later on, you can't sit in a resting squat very well, you struggle to touch your toes, and you fall out of a seated straddle. And there's some great flexibility routines to follow, but what I recommend you do is find a couple of key movements that you really gel with, and you just do them all the time. Ideally pick a movement that hits multiple parts of the body at the same time. So for the upper body, it would be something like a hang. It's super simple, can easily be progressed to different variations, but that's mainly for the upper body. Today I want to go for something for the lower body, for the hips. So let's look at the Cossack squat. So the Cossack squat is a nice wide straddle position. And then the cool thing with this movement is I'm going to do a bent leg mobility movement on this side, and I'm going to keep this leg straight, which is going to work it completely different and hit different muscles. So when I come down in this side, this is like a standard squat position. I'm trying to keep my torso nice and upright, and it's getting into my glutes, my hamstrings, my adductors, my calves, my quads, etc. And then this side is adductor and hamstring. And then I come up and do the same thing on the other side, exactly the same but reversed. So now this side is getting the bent leg challenge, and this side is getting the straight leg challenge. Now there's a few different variations. We can go on depth alone, I could lean forwards and I can rotate and I can go all the way down to the floor and then I can come back up again. Or I can make the movement very strict and keep the torso super straight. Don't allow my shoulders to lean forwards in any way. Keep the foot flat as I can and move very slowly. I could try and alternate sides while trying to keep the depth and keep the torso upright. And that's going to be very different than just going for depth. So for the beginner version, we just need a couple of targets. And I'm going to use these IKEA steps, but you could use anything you can sit down onto. Weight plates work really well, the bumpers, because you can just change the height very easily. And I'm just going to stand in front of the steps in a comfortable position. You can play around with that depth to suit your current ranges. And then all I'm going to do is try and sit down onto this step while maintaining a straight leg on this side. I'm going to allow myself to lean forwards, find the step, trying to keep that foot flat as I can, trying to keep this leg locked out. And then I'm going to come up and then go over to the other side. Now if that feels okay and it's not too bad from an intensity or a challenge point of view, I can then start to make it stricter. So now I'm going to try and keep the torso upright, both on the up and on the down. I could only lightly touch instead of sitting onto it. And then I've got a choice. If it's really hard, I can increase the height. So I could stick something on that side. And now when I come down, it's easier to keep that strict technique. I could even take the arms out, try and do it without the shoulders going over the knees. If I want to be very strict with the position and police it, I could go very close to the wall. So now when I go down, I can't lean forwards at all because I'm going to hit my nose on the wall. So that's a great way of challenging yourself and keep it very, very strict. Now I could isolate areas as well, so I could keep that torso super upright, go as deep as I can there, keeping this leg straight, keeping that foot on the floor. But then once I get to this point, I can now work harder on this hamstring, turn the foot and then push down. I could even lean in here and try and grab hold of the foot, try and bring my head towards my toe, and then see if I can get back out again. Now obviously coming all the way down to the floor is a harder variation and you need good range all the way down to get there with control. But that's a nice challenge if you are a little bit more mobile. We can also just floss the hip more. So I'm now allowing the feet to move and I'm getting some rotation in the hip. This is good just to get everything moving. But you have to be careful with this one that you're not compensating in the same way every time. So I would not only just do this one, I'd be super strict with the technique as well when you're trying to get to new ranges. And then another variation I like to do, especially if I'm going to go in towards middle splits or deep straddle positions, is I place my hands on the floor. So now I'm embracing that closed hip position and I'm doing the same thing. But I'm really trying to get into the hip more. And this carries over nicely if I'm going to go deeper in towards that deep straddle pancake position. And the cool thing with it, you can just adjust it to how well your body's feeling on the day. If you're super new to it, just stand in that position, little knee bend, just explore both sides. And just do that as part of your warm-up or when you're waiting for a bus. Let me know if you have any questions of this one. Let me know if you do any other variations of the Cossack squat. You can obviously do it weighted as well and make it more about strength. If you're after some help with your training, check out my app. Link is down in the description, and I'll speak to you next time. Thanks, guys.